Okay, ladies, let's get started. For my card today, I am using the Snowflake Sentiments stamp set. I love snowflakes, and this one is a fun one. So I'm using that. I'm specifically using this snowflake and this sentiment, wishing you a season of joy, a season of cheer, but most of all, a wonderful year. I am using Soft Sky Cherry Cobbler ink. I'm using a 1 3/4 and a 2-inch circle punch. I am using the Merry Little Christmas Designer Series paper that's in the holiday catalog. I love this paper. I know a lot of people are very upset with black and green and they say it's not Christmassy. I'm going to show you how I made it Christmassy looking. Okay, I'm pairing that with the Be Merry Designer Series paper that's in the annual catalog. Now you're saying, well, why are you doing that? There's no red in there, but there's red in here. The only thing you have to worry about when you start mixing your patterns is making sure your background is the same. That one is Whisper White. This one is Whisper White. So that's the thing to keep in mind. You don't want to put Whisper White and Very Vanilla together, although it can be done and sometimes looks okay. So those are the two papers I'm using. I have a scrap of Cherry Cobbler, a scrap of Whisper White. I have cut my paper from the Be Merry Designer Series paper, and it is 1.5 by 2 1/4. The Cherry Cobbler that goes with it is 1 3/4 by 2 1/2. I cut the snowflake one, and this is a perfect square, so it is cut at 1 1/2 by 1 1/2. I've got black to mount it on. I know black, but that's okay. And it is 1 3/4 by 1 3/4. I have another piece that's got the trees on it, and it is 1 inch by 3 1/2, 1 inch by 3 1/2, and this one is 1 1/4 by 3 3/4, and then my card base, which is Whisper White, at 5 1/2, 8 1/2, scored at 4 1/4. All right, first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to make my card base. Oh, I forgot my envelope. I will be using an envelope. Good thing they're right here underneath of my desk where I work, so I can grab one real quick. So I got my envelope. Okay, now I'm going to take and I'm going to attach all these pieces to my card pieces, my cardstock. Oops. All right, this one goes on here. You could have used the striped side, but I wanted the trees to pair with my reindeer. Ah! Oh, come on. Don't stick, don't stick, don't stick. Whew. That was fast. It slipped on me. You do have a little bit of time, but not a lot with this. All right, so there's that. And then this is going to go on here. That's what I get for trying to hold it and do it. I'm much better if it's down flat. Now, for my sentiment, I'm going to take Soft Sky, and Soft Sky is really light, so I'm going to lightly stamp it all over my scrap, and then I'm going to come back with the Cherry Cobbler, and I'm going to stamp my sentiment right in the middle. Okay, and then I'm going to use my 1 3/4 inch punch And I'm going to center it and punch it. And I wanted to have some of the snowflakes behind it just to give it some texture and interest. Now I'm going to use my 2-inch and my scrap to punch out my other circle. This, whoops, I'm so good about putting things away and I reach for it and it's not there. This I'm going to mount on here. All right. Okay, we're ready to put our card together. First thing we're going to do is this goes down first. And you know what? I'm going to deviate. I'm going to emboss the front of this with the Snowflake embossing folder. Let me do that. Nothing like changing up in the middle, but I thought that this would be nice to add as a background. So I'm going to add a little bit more glue to this because it's kind of dried and it does probably would have stuck, but I want it to make sure. Now when you put this down, make sure your trees are facing up. So that's going to go right about there. This one is going to go here, and notice I overlapped it a little. Oops, I'm not going to, got to hold it a few seconds. I overlapped it a little, but I moved up also. All right, and then this one is going to go down here like so. All right, and now my seasoned chair, I'm just holding that a little bit because it's embossed. I usually use my tear and tape, but for some reason I opted to use the can't think, the glue today. Boy, I'm having a heck of a time thinking. All right, I've added my dimensionals. Okay, and I'm going to put that right about there. See? Isn't that cute? You don't see much of the snowflake, but it's just enough to add some background interest. Now I'm going to use my snowflake in my soft sky, and I'm going to stamp the inside, and I'm going to use a scrap because I'm going to go off. And I'm just going to stamp down the side, different directions. Sometimes a little, sometimes a lot, just to add a little bit of something inside. And I'm going to do the same here. There we go. And my card is complete. There's the card and the inside and the envelope. I hope I inspired you today. Pull out your stamps and paper and see what you can mix and match and create your own fun cards for Christmas. Make sure you share my video and like it. I'd love to get some more followers. Have a great day.